Good morning to you. It is 7 a.m., Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. Welcome to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. Hurricane Erin is churning up dangerous rip currents along the East Coast. Let's take a live look now at Jenkinson's and Point Pleasant, where the water is looking just a little bit rough, and it's only going to get rougher between now and tomorrow night. So that is why the authorities are saying stay out of the water, especially tonight and into tomorrow morning, because that's going to be very rough. South of Point Pleasant, the currents are prompting swimming bans in Wildwood. The storm not making landfall, but still driving 8 to 12-foot waves and strong swells, creating treacherous conditions. In Avalon, northeasterly winds close the road to Townsend's Inlet Bridge. Atlantic City facing beach erosion and minor flooding concerns. Officials urge beachgoers to stay out of the water for safety. What can we expect today? It'll be cloudy, some rain this afternoon, highs around 70. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Today's cloud cover and rain is not actually a result of Erin. It's tomorrow that the clouds will move in offshore, give us some very gusty breezes. Again, not a direct result of Erin's winds, but the pressure difference between the clear air that comes in for Friday and the storm sitting just offshore. We'll get to those wave heights in just a bit because they are impressive. But for waking up right now, it feels quite pleasant, with temperatures in the low and mid 60s across the state. A little bit of a light breeze helping to aid in that cooler feel. And the dew points, or the temperature where the air is saturated, nice and low, so it feels dry and comfortable. With that cooler, refreshing feel up in northern New Jersey, dew points in the upper 50s. That's almost fall-like, but still a bit humid down towards the shore points. As far as the rain this morning, they'll see some light, spotty sprinkles there across southern New Jersey. Waking up, anticipate a little bit of that easterly breeze to persist most of the day. It's going to be a gray day, mostly cloudy. Kind of what you see is what you get. You step outside, you don't see a whole lot of sun. Well, it stays that way throughout this afternoon. Then we tap into tomorrow morning, and that's where the winds really start to pick up. Check out LBI. That's a gust of nearly 40 miles per hour, 30 mile per hour winds over toward the beaches, because these are Erin's winds just offshore. So we'll start to feel the worst of the effects with the waves by later on tonight into tomorrow, and especially those winds lasting all day long tomorrow before it eventually clears out by Friday. As far as today, the cloud cover hangs pretty low. Here's your futurecast showing those clouds throughout this evening, and again, some light spotty sprinkles around throughout the day. Then these are the outer bands just offshore. That's due to Erin throughout tomorrow afternoon. You see another one there. Those gusty winds, keeping temperatures in the 60s tomorrow, with that northeast wind howling throughout the day. And then we finally cleared out by Friday, bringing back a very pleasant feel with cooler breezes in the morning and a lot of sunshine throughout the afternoon. Not a whole lot of cloud cover to wrap up the end of the work week. The weekend starting off very pleasant too. Lots of sunshine on Saturday, and we keep it clear throughout the day for Saturday afternoon with highs in the low and mid 80s. So it'll feel very pleasant to start off the weekend. And if you're wondering, Erin's track, like Ken was saying, stays far out to sea, but the breadth of the storm, the scope of the storm is very wide. That's why we'll see those clouds as soon as tomorrow afternoon, where the storm center has maximum sustained winds of 105 miles per hour. That's a strong category 2. Throughout Friday and Saturday, back to sunshine. It's a very pleasant start to the weekend, but I think there could be some clouds and showers maybe on the tail end. We'll talk about that with the weekend forecast, Ken, coming up in the next few minutes.
All right, thank you so much, Mike. It's 7:04. A lot of traffic already at this early hour of the morning. There's some areas of patchy fog and a little wet roadways causing it. So let's take a look at I-195 eastbound at exit 2. That's Route 524 in Hamilton Township. The right shoulder's closed. That's causing a lot of rubbernecking through that area, as you can see. So that's, again, Hamilton Township, 195 east of exit 2, Route 524 in Hamilton Township. The right shoulder closed and a slow go through there. We also can move over to the New Jersey Turnpike outer roadway right now, and this is in the area of Chesterfield Township. We have a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike outer roadway southbound north of Interchange 7, Route 206 in Chesterfield. The right shoulder's blocked there. Once again, you can kind of make it through the dense cloud cover fog area in that area very slow move through there. We have a crash on the Garden State Parkway southbound by exit 89B, which is Route 70 in Lakewood Township with a partial ramp blockage. And we have another issue on the New Jersey Turnpike entering at interchange 9, Route 18, East Brunswick, with a toll lane blocked. The Hudson River approaches right now. Lincoln and Holland both moving about 10 minutes to get across. Let's take a look at the GWB upper and lower levels, 8095 approach. You can see the upper level on the right is about a 20-minute crossover time, 15 minutes on the lower level on the left. 7:05 is our time. In Point Pleasant, 31-year-old Juan Santiago Rojas faces deportation and up to 10 years in prison after pleading guilty to attempted murder. On August 22nd of 2022, a woman was found unconscious with serious head and neck injuries at a Butler Avenue home. Initially charged with aggravated assault, Santiago Rojas faces an additional murder charge after evidence showed that he strangled the victim to unconsciousness. Arrested in Wilmington, North Carolina back in December of 2023, he was extradited to New Jersey. Federal immigration authorities have sought to hold on to keep him here, though his country of origin remains unclear. A Virginia man has been arrested in connection with a deadly shooting that happened in South Jersey on June 8th. Burlington City Police found 38-year-old Derek Adams shot dead at the intersection of Earl and Clarkson Streets. Authorities identified 33-year-old James McDowell Jr. as the suspect. McDowell was arrested in Roanoke, Virginia, and faces murder and weapons charges. He's currently held at the Roanoke City Adult Detention Center, and he's awaiting extradition to New Jersey for a grand jury review. 7:06, a 69-year-old Branchburg woman faces charges for possessing and distributing child sexual abuse materials. Kathleen Amberg was arrested last week after a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. State police and Somerset County prosecutors seized electronic devices from her home. Amberg, with no prior criminal record, was briefly held and released after a court appearance. And in preparation for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, the New Jersey Air National Guard's 177th Civil Engineer Squadron teamed up with the Army National Guard and State Police for a critical training exercise held at Mercer County Park. The drill focused on hazardous material response, explosive ordnance disposal, and interagency coordination. They used robotic systems and simulated scenarios. The teams practiced handling chemical and explosive threats. 7:07 now, and with Labor Day weekend on the horizon, Central Jersey diners have no shortage of standout spots to enjoy. This is the state of diners, from stylish brunches to indulgent Italian dinners. Here to talk food, flavor, and what makes their dining experiences so memorable are restaurateurs Frank Brusco and Demetri Rexini. They are powerhouse team, the powerhouse team behind local favorites like Madison Modern Social, Gabriella's Italian Steakhouse, Patricia's of Homedale, and Over Easy Kitchen. Frank and Demetri, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to have you both on. Tell us how your partnership started. We'll start with Frank. Tell us how your partnership started and what drew you both to the restaurant world, and how did your group of restaurants explode like that? This is a tough business.
Definitely a tough business. Approximately 15 years ago, so I bumped into Demetri at one of his restaurants. It was called Park East. And at that point, I did watch this gentleman just work that room, watch the crowd, really had control of his restaurant. At the time, I was not in the restaurant business, was intrigued by that whole concept, and we ended up bumping into one another one day, thought about doing a restaurant. I opened up one. He had a couple going himself, and we ended up joining forces to what we currently have today.
And let's go to Demetri. Is there anything you want to add to that? And the question is, why would you two put yourself through the restaurant industry?
That's a great question. It's an industry that you sometimes have to be born and raised into it, which is how originally me and my brother had started. And when we met Frank, like Frankie was saying, about 15 years ago out of our one restaurant, Park East, we just shared the same type of work ethic. And we were in the process of opening up our third restaurant. Frankie was opening up Patricia's of Homedale, and completely respected the work ethic. And in this industry, you don't find people that kind of get it and share the same type of vision and the detail to making the hospitality and the guests happy. So it was a perfect combination, and knock on wood, it's been a great success. And it starts with communication and just sharing the same goal.
Yeah, amen to that. And I only speak nodding my head off camera at you because my family was in this business. We had at different times a deli, a pizzeria, a formal restaurant, a what else? We had a I'm forgetting now, luncheonette, an ice cream parlor. We owned everything. And I've had my hands from the age of 3. I've had my hands in every one of them up to here. So
You
I
feel the
have been
pain. You
there. I've
feel the
done the
pain.
prep. Oh, hell yeah. I've done the prep at 7 in the morning and I've gone home at 3 in the morning with my legs swollen like tomatoes from standing and running around for 9 hours. I know what it is. And you know exactly. I see the smile on your face. You know I'm not lying when I tell you that. So I feel your pain.
Thank you.
What ties, yes, God bless you both and your families. What ties all your restaurants together? Is there like a common thread? Because they're all different styles, right? So what ties them all together?
I'd say, to be honest with you, it's that whole hospitality group. I mean, we do have a very great demeanor about ourselves. We're not this stuffy restaurant. We do appreciate our customers, obviously, our staff. We kind of really want that to be a really unstuffy clientele that comes in there. It's an experience. We want to treat people the way we've been treated or the way we'd like to be treated when we go into a restaurant. So that's really the simple, task that we have in place every day of the week here. And I tell everybody the same thing. People know this word. I tell them every day is a Super Bowl. You have no idea who's coming into that restaurant. Always make sure that you're on point.
Yeah, that's the thing. You guys don't have the opportunity to have one bad day. That's what sucks. Everybody else can come in a bad mood, whatever. You can't have one bad day because that's all they'll talk about. Yeah, I tried that place. It stinks. That's all you need is one bad dish, one bad day. And it's so unfair. You could have 99,000 perfect dishes, and the one is the one that could bite you in the butt. Demetri, now you guys have clearly tapped into what Central Jersey diners are craving. I know it's so hard. We had a restaurateur on yesterday. Having been in the business, I know sometimes you want to create a certain a genre of restaurant and you put it out there in a town and then the people come in and say, what, you don't have spaghetti or chicken palm? That must drive you insane as restaurateurs. You come up with these creative, clever dishes. You order the product, you get it imported, whatever, and then you got, I just want some fried chicken. Is that all? You don't have it? What's up? That must drive you insane. So tell me about that. Does that break your heart, or do you go out of your way to find out what the community embraces?
No, listen, it's you definitely have experience. You live, I can tell from your great questions. Living in this world, we understand that we're not always going to be for everybody. We value everybody's opinion and what they might feel, what they might be missing. And I think really in how we go about in training our staff and our management, especially with ourselves touching the table, Frankie's one of the best at it, is that we don't like to tell the guests we don't have. We just give them a different version. If they have a certain palate for a certain type of food, we just explain to them, this is our genre, this is what we're pushing. May I suggest? May I recommend? We believe in so much in what we do and what every dish that we offer that we feel we can win them over. It doesn't always win. We're not for everybody, but when you believe in what you're doing and you have that passion, sometimes it bleeds through and the guest feels that we're being honest, which we always are. It 9 out of 10 times we win them over and they give us an opportunity. But there's definitely some misses. It's part of our industry, and as we're building our new restaurant, Madison Modern Social, that's what we're working on. Our consistency, and we're navigating through the menu, and we make adjustments and we pivot.
That's so exciting, and that's in Old Bridge, right? Frank, we'll ask you about that. So, what's going to be the special standout for nightlife and the elevated bites there at Madison Modern Social?
So yes, Madison Modern Social. That's definitely our new spot right now. It's in Old Bridge, New Jersey. It's in the shops of Old Bridge, so it's a little hidden gem out there. But that restaurant, we will offer sushi, pasta, steak, fish. Is there a standout? We have a beef Wellington that's phenomenal, but we have a lot of great dishes. We're not just Italian. We're not just steak. We're a little combination of everything. Cocktails are great. The build out of this restaurant is phenomenal. Probably one of the most prettiest restaurants in New Jersey at this point. But we have jazz night on Tuesdays. We have a great vibe dining Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We do have a DJ, not necessarily a crazy DJ, but just a great vibe dining that you'll have a great experience every time you come into this restaurant. I could assure you. come check it out.
That's cool. And that must be hard to be so diverse because going from sushi is its own genre. That's hard to maintain. You got to get absolute perfect day fresh fish every day. You can't have, but we get the stuff out of the freezer. That doesn't work with sushi.
Correct.
So that's, God bless you. That's brave. That's brave to do that. And then over to Demetri too. Labor Day weekend is the perfect time for a memorable meal. What would you, and then Frank too, what would each of you recommend from your menus if you could have your favorite holiday weekend splurge?
It's Frankie laid it out perfectly. It's to me when our guests first arrive, we have a great combination of shared appetizers. It's really built around that social life. We highly recommend from the quesadilla to our chicken skewers, and sushi is always a great second course. It's great for a shareable, and you jump right into the main dishes. You can never go wrong with our signature beef Wellington. Tap into our homemade pastas. It's a little bit of everything, and with the right background, the right lighting, the energy we put off, it's we take our guests on a little bit of a journey. You definitely do not feel like you're in your typical New Jersey restaurant.
I love the beef Wellington thing because that's a hell of a throwback. To stay there and make the duxelle, the prep. People who don't realize it's not just steak wrapped in crust. There is a lot of prep, and you have to make sure that fillet is cooked perfectly to get to execute that. Frank, how about you? What's your favorite dish? If you could pick a dish to splurge with.
I guess my cheat appetizer is or shareable. It would be a signature chicken nugget that we have, believe it or not, with a little creme fraiche and caviar on it. It's delicious. And because I'm eating clean right now, my new lifestyle, our bronzino is to die for. It's fantastic. It's clean. It's delicious. You'll actually enjoy it. I can assure you.
That's awesome. And I'm so glad you just said what you said because that business that you both have is so demanding round the clock that you have to take care of yourself physically. When you get those 400-pound restaurateurs because they eat, drink, they stay there, they have a cocktail with every guest. Those are the ones that end up, I don't want to say. That's good that you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you keep doing that just from a friend. Let's just say your new friend who has been in the business and whose family's been in the business for 50 years. God bless you. I hope you live to be
Thank you, Ken.
150 and get to enjoy all your guests. What's your website so people could see more about your restaurants?
Well, each restaurant has its own website. We don't have one particular group. So if you're at Madison, it would be www.madisonmodernsocial.com. But the same thing with Patricia's of Homedale, Gabriella's Italian Steakhouse. That one is Gabriella's NJ. And then we have Over Easy Kitchen as well. So yes, everyone has their own separate website or Instagram.
I'm going to run them all down. I'm going to run them all down to Frank and Demetri. It's restaurateurs, owners of Madison Modern Social. That's the new one in Old Bridge coming up. Gabriella's Italian Steakhouse, Patricia's of Homedale, and Over Easy Kitchen. Frank Brusco and Demetri Rexini, thank you both for joining us. I wish you nothing but I hope you have 100 more and all of them run successfully. And please come back. We want to hear the progress. It's really exciting to have you on today.
Thank you again,
Thank you.
Ken. Have a great morning. Thank you.
You too.
You as
Thank
well,
you.
both of you. Great day. Thank you. It is 64 degrees right now, 7:17. We'll be back in 30 seconds. New Jersey Globe editor David Wildstein will have the latest on New Jersey's political scene with the Inside Edge. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. Back in 30. Welcome back. It is now 65 degrees. It's 7:18, and we have the Inside Edge in just a moment, but we want to tell you all about the weather and everything else. We got a lot of stuff happening at the beaches. Let's go to meteorologist Mike Favetta. He has the very latest Garden State forecast for us. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Yeah, the beaches with erosion will be a big concern over the next day or so, as well as some coastal flooding. There are coastal flood warnings popping up all across the shore points, specifically for Cape May County. But even further north, you head toward Atlantic, Burlington, Ocean, Monmouth, right up the coast. These are all coastal flood watches, as well as some rip current statements. And you see that shade of red offshore? That's a tropical storm warning for the coastal waters, so you probably won't find any boaters going out today or tomorrow, as those waves are rather high and very gusty winds from the north beginning later on this evening into tomorrow. Some light showers right now moving across central and southern New Jersey, so you could run into a light shower from Pine Hill up through Marlton, Mount Laurel, and Tabernacle, even going out east over toward Barnegat, Stafford Township, right down the Parkway. Some light showers expected as far north up as Edison and even at the tail end of 287. So a little bit of wet weather to start our morning, and it stays wet throughout the day. Not a whole lot of sunshine this afternoon as temperatures remain cool in the mid 70s. Keep the umbrella close by, especially if you're out and about. Visibility, we just saw on the cameras, it's quite low, less than 2 miles toward Trenton, a little bit reduced visibility as well by Long Branch, and we'll see that stay low throughout today with that low cloud cover and some more rain that moves in. So there is Erin spinning just offshore. You can see its size as it enters the picture, working to the north and east, and some of the outer banks will start to tap into some of those bands with that, some of the rain. But again, here in New Jersey, we just have the cloud cover and the gusty breezes throughout the day. Tomorrow, the biggest impacts will be felt at the coast in terms of beach erosion and, of course, those giant waves crashing on shore throughout the day tomorrow. It turns dry again by Friday after a humid next few days. And then by the time we get to Saturday, some of that humidity starts to creep back in, but still very comfortable on our Saturday with lots of sunshine throughout the afternoon. A really pretty way to start the weekend. There are the remnants of the next system that come by after Erin, and then beyond that, it's all quiet going in through Tuesday and Wednesday. So the middle of next week looks nice and dry after a pleasant finish to the weekend. Could have some clouds, I think, by Sunday, but beyond that, all of the storm tracks take the storm out to sea, except for that one wayward, which has been still hinting at, but again, it's not part of the national hurricane forecast, so we just take it with a grain of salt. The weekend looking great to start, and then a little bit of wet weather to finish, likely some extra clouds in there, maybe a shower later in the day. But overall, a very nice Friday and Saturday. So we'll take the good, especially with it some less humid weather, Ken, as we wrap up the weekend.
I hear that, Mike. Thank you, sir. It is 68 degrees now at 7:22. Taking a look at some of the traffic we have in the area. If we go back to 195 heading toward Philadelphia right now, this is down in Hamilton Township. There was an earlier crash that we're told was cleared, but you could see the damage has been done, so to say. There were residual delays as people try to get off. This was off to the right. They may still have the vehicle up ahead. You could see kind of the emergency lights you see in the top middle of your screen. So apparently everybody's getting toward the left to avoid that. But with the rain on the roadways, everybody's taking it easy. So this is Hamilton Township, 195, earlier crash being taken care of, and that's causing a lot of delays through that area. We also have a down tree, actually, on Route 33 eastbound west of Route 34. That's in Howell Township. All lanes are closed. We don't have a camera shot on that, but that's a mess, I'm told, through that area. We go back to the New Jersey Turnpike, in this case, the outer roadway southbound, just north of Interchange 7, Route 206 in Chesterfield. The right shoulder's blocked. You could see the emergency vehicles there. That's been on the scene for about 45 minutes, causing those issues. And we have delays in pockets of volume up and down the New Jersey Turnpike. In fact, the inner roadway northbound from south of Interchange 12, which is Carteret, to south of Interchange 13 by the Goethals Bridge in Linden, there is a full 3-mile bumper-to-bumper delay, all due to volume and weather. So make sure you give yourselves extra travel time for that. On the Hudson River crossings, it's only 15 minutes now at the Lincoln, 10 minutes at the Holland. The 8095 approach to the GWB is not too bad right now. It's about 20 minutes on both the upper and lower levels. You could see that just outside that camera shot, just after they come to the bottom there, that puts you at about just barely the 2-mile mark to New York City. That's where they're slowing down. So that means it's about a 20 to 25-minute trip in. 7:23 right now, and President Trump has slammed New Jersey's offshore wind energy plan, blaming it for a 20% spike in energy costs that hit ratepayers this past June 1st, and another 20% cost hike that happened last June. The state deferred the hike to October to ease the burden for a couple of months. In a Truth Social post, Trump called windmills, quote, stupid and ugly, pointed out that they were driving up prices by 28% and failing to meet the state's energy needs. Opponents, including Congressman Chris Smith, echo Trump, labeling the Empire Wind project a costly national security threat and environmental disaster. The project, halted in April, was revived in May after talks with regulators who, the people who, the company from the Scandinavia, they were going to build this to the cost of billions of dollars, and they had already invested over $1 billion, and then they pulled out because they said with the regulations, this was Obama era, by the way, Obama era regulations, that it was so expensive that they actually had to halt. So just a couple of things before you think wind energy is such a wonderful renewable resource. I want you to think about this. 1.2 million migratory birds die every single year from those windmills. And that's just in the United States, not all over the world. They're all over the world. But in the US alone, 1.2 million birds are killed because what happens is they put the windmills where the wind is, and that's where the migratory birds fly. They fly where the wind flow is, right? And they fly, those poor things, I don't mean to laugh, they fly right into the blades, and that kills them. So that's number one. Number two, do you know that it takes between 1/3 and 500,000 barrels of oil, of fossil fuel oil, in order to lubricate just the United States quantity of windmills? So you're using fossil fuels anyway. It's not as clean as you think it is. And then, of course, there's the visual pollution of seeing all these windmills dotting the New Jersey shore. The problem is Democrats in Trenton shut down perfectly good functioning electric generating plants, 5 fossil fuel plants, 1 nuclear plant in the last couple of years, before they could get an electric plant that is so-called green online. That's what caused the problems of the price hikes that we have. 726 New Jersey Republicans slamming NJ.com for failing to disclose that their owner, Ben Newhouse, a major Democratic donor, contributed nearly $6,000 to gubernatorial candidate Mikey Sherrill. Now, what that $6,000 donation, $5,800 to be specific, what that did was it allowed the unlocking of $17,400 in matching funds from the state. This was first uncovered by the New Jersey Globe. GOP leader Kate Gibbs called the omission outrageous, accusing NJ.com of biased coverage. Newhouse, part of a $24 billion publishing empire, has donated over $400,000 to whom? The Democrats. So when you hear people say that the mainstream media is in bed with the Democrats, this is absolute proof, because you have to disclose who you are with your social security number when you make a donation like that. Former Star Ledger editor Dave D'Alessandro also gave to Democratic campaigns, including Kamala Harris's, without any disclaimers in endorsements. Republicans demand transparency, saying New Jerseyans deserve better journalism, but this is par for the course for the left. Their attitude is it is normal to support Democrats, but only weirdo right extremists support Republicans. Everyone, when I worked at all the network-owned stations that I worked at for 40 years as a news anchor, that was the attitude. Everybody got into their little cliques, their little coffee clutches, and they had conversation, assuming everybody was a liberal in the group, because their mindset is Republicans are weird. They're out there, right-wing extremists. So when you come into the business with that attitude, this is what happens. 7:24 is our time. It is now time for politics like no one else can explain it. Here is David Wildstein with the Inside Edge.
Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, August 20th. Welcome to the Inside Edge. For generations of young people like me who pursued an education in national politics at a very young age, Jules Wickover wasn't just a reporter. He was a constant. Presidential campaigns, convention floors, smoke-filled rooms. He was there for all of it, notebook in hand, never missing the subtext while others chased the headline. And Wickover built his reputation the old school way by earning the trust of the people he covered. For years, part of my daily routine was to read the syndicated column he wrote with another legend, Jack Germond, 5 days a week after the Star Ledger picked them up in 1978. And then, to my great disappointment, stopped 9 years later. But I was hooked and found it in other places, not so easy in the pre-internet era. So it's with great sadness that I learned of Wickover's passing on Saturday. He was 98. I never met him, but still, I feel like I lost a friend, a hero of my youth. And naturally, there's a Jersey tie. Jules Wickover was born in Union City because, of course he was. As a young journalist in the 50s and 60s, he worked for the Hackensack Star Telegram. That was a tabloid owned by another local news giant named Bill Madden. And he was the chief political writer for the Star Ledger's Washington Bureau. He was a predecessor of McQueenie and Cohen and Salant. And he was just a few feet away from Bobby Kennedy when he was assassinated in Los Angeles. Somehow the Newhouses let him get away. Jules Wickover had a rare gift. He could unpack the political machinery without drowning readers in jargon. He knew where the bodies were buried, but he understood when to let a story breathe. And politicians returned his calls because they knew he'd get the story right, even when it wouldn't be flattering. He chronicled the 1976 presidential election in a book called Marathon, The Pursuit of the Presidency, 1972 to 76. And when it came out in 1977, I read it over and over, and I still keep it on my desk. And later I'd buy used copies and give them away. I've read every one of Jules Wickover's books, 13 in all, and another 4 with Drummond about the presidential races of 80, 84, 88, and 92. Nobody chronicled these campaigns better than those guys. Wickover's series of definitive books on modern presidential campaigns, for operatives and candidates and reporters, those books weren't optional; they were required reading. And Jules Wickover leaves behind more than books and columns. He leaves behind a blueprint for how to cover politics without losing your soul. And he didn't play favorites. He didn't chase clicks. He just told the story. May his memory be a blessing.
7:31 right now, 66 degrees. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. And when we come back, pop culture meets parenting for one New Jersey mom who turned nostalgia, resilience, and family love into something truly special. We're coming right back.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Hoffman, host of Energy Matters. Join me every night at 6 p.m. where we're discussing energy affordability, challenges, and solutions with stakeholders and elected officials. Join me weekdays at 6 p.m. on Energy Matters on ONNJ.
Very good morning to you. 67 degrees now, 7:32, Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato, and welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Hurricane Erin is churning up dangerous rip currents along the East Coast. We take a live look now at the beach off of Jenkinson's here in Point Pleasant, where the water is looking rough. You can see the water really churning up there, and it's only going to get worse from this point on. South of Point Pleasant, the currents are prompting swimming bans over in Wildwood, and the storm not making landfall, still though driving 8 to 12-foot waves and strong swells, creating treacherous conditions. In Avalon, northeasterly winds close the road to Townsend's Inlet Bridge. And Atlantic City faces beach erosion and minor flooding concerns. Officials are urging beachgoers to stay out of the water for safety. What can we expect weather-wise today? Well, it's going to be cloudy, some rain this afternoon, highs around 70, though that is not connected to Erin. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will explain with the detailed Garden State forecast. Morning to you, Mike.
Good morning to you, Ken. Yeah, we're not going to get any rain from Erin, but the winds, they'll be howling at the beaches by this time tomorrow. And you already see those waves that will probably double in size in the next day. And the reason for that is how close Erin comes to shore. Our forecast points to mostly cloudy skies today and some light showers that are already around, and anticipate that wet weather to linger right throughout this afternoon into this evening. Today, we only get to a high of 76. far from the average, and with the sun setting nice and early at 7:47, those daylight hours slowly getting shorter. So there are the light showers that are moving through central New Jersey right now. The clouds, they're hanging low. They'll be present through most of the day. Not only is there a high risk of rip current risks, the Weather Service issued a rip current statement, which is like the next higher threat level tier, saying that it's really important to stay out of the water today, especially with the large circulation here of Erin. And notice this storm will start to expand in size as it leaves the tropics and becomes extratropical. All through this point, the hurricane has been gaining its energy from the ocean. Well, now it's going to start to gain its energy from the atmosphere. And as it does, expand its wind field and become very potent just offshore, giving us some very gusty winds with, again, the rain staying offshore, but a lot of cloud cover throughout the day tomorrow. Our forecast points to the light rain today, which again is from an ordinary system coming from the west. There's the storm heading out to sea, generating huge waves. And I'll show you the wave heights coming up in the next weather forecast, anywhere from 10 to 15 feet offshore. Coupled with the wind, that's why there's a tropical storm warning off the New Jersey coast. Again, we just get some winds tomorrow with cloud cover and temperatures that hold in the 70s today and tomorrow. But tomorrow is generally a dry day. We're back to sunshine on Friday, 83 as the high. Beautiful weather on Saturday, 83 as well. It continues to remain dry. And then some light rain might come in on Sunday into Monday. I don't think it's a washout, but there'll be a few showers around, especially later on in the day. The shore points have a better chance of some rain tomorrow, but again, I think it mostly stays dry. It'll likely just be cloudy with very breezy conditions, back to sunshine on Sunday, or rather on Friday into Saturday with mostly clear skies. Sunday has some wet weather, and then I think we clear it out once more into Tuesday with average temperatures heading into next week. Low 80s with less humidity, we'll take it, especially after the hot summer we've had, wrapping up the last unofficial week of summer, dare I say, going in with a very pleasant feel, Ken, starting off next week.
You know what? You know what? You're pretty brave to say that on this show. I must say, yesterday actually turned out much nicer in the afternoon than I thought it would. It was lovely. It wasn't
It was
humid.
lovely.
The
Yes,
temperature was
it was lovely.
it was like that kind of filtered sun.
Yeah.
Perfect. But every now and then when you got this little of wind, it was not warm wind. You felt it.
No, it was
You knew
not.
fall
It
was
felt a little
coming.
chilly. It was nice.
Yeah, one of the last times I could be at the pool to have like the 97 strange children from other people who are unattended coming around and yelling. Just saying. All right. I hold no grudges. Thank you so much, Mike. We appreciate you. It is 65 degrees. I know Antonino would never do that. 65 degrees right now in northern New Jersey, 64 in Trenton. And down in Trenton, we do have a little rain right now. It's kind of holding still in northern New Jersey. In terms of in terms of traffic, rather, we just did weather. We have a down tree, Route 33 eastbound west of Route 34 in Howell Township. All lanes are closed there. And there's a crash now. Let's take a look at the Garden State Parkway. This is about a mile and a half shy of where this crash is. It's the closest camera we can get to show you. But there is a crash now on the Garden State Parkway. And of course, our information just refreshed. Okay, yes, it's southbound by the entrance ramp at exit 140, Route 22 in Union Township. They're saying that one lane is blocked. So it's just out of that picture, about a mile or so just down that road. That's the closest camera we can get you for that. So that might, by the next time we show you, that might be built up a little bit. We have a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike Outer Roadway southbound north of Interchange 7, Route 206 in Chesterfield. The right shoulder is blocked. And the approaches to the Hudson River right now, the Lincoln is about a 15-minute crossover, only 10 minutes at the Holland. GWB upper and lower levels, 80-95 approach. Not so bad. It's about 20 minutes, which at this hour of the day is actually moving pretty well. 7:38, pop culture meets parenting for the New Jersey mom who turned nostalgia, resilience, and family love into something truly special. Jessica Schirripa is the author of Little Good Fella and Baby Balboa, two heartwarming children's books. She was inspired by her son, Michelangelo, her Italian-American upbringing, and her late father, blending classic movie nostalgia with family values. Many wouldn't think to turn gritty stories like the Godfather, or Rocky into children's books material. But good morning to you first off. And how did you do this? How did you mix that to make this a positive message for kids? Good morning and welcome.
Well, I think Rocky, has a very positive message, and it actually came about. My son is obsessed with Rocky, And he reads, my husband actually loves all the nostalgia, Karate Kid, all those movies, Back to the Future growing up, and we bought all those books for him. And I went to get him a Rocky book for Christmas, and I went on a hunt for it. I couldn't find one anywhere. So he sort of was just like, well, hey, why don't you write one and, put it out there? It has such a positive message. It's an underdog story. It's all about heart and love and family and being a strong fighter. And, it just has been such a reflection of everything that we've gone through, just trying to have him. Actually, we had a very difficult pregnancy. We had a NICU stay. And we constantly had, Sylvester Stallone in our corner, so to speak, playing the Rocky music and inspiring us to stay strong and get our little fighter home. And it works. So it's such a big part of our story. And it's such a beautiful sentiment that I wanted to pass it along and have something for him. And just so he knows that it was, he's been a fighter from the get-go. So that's how Baby Balboa sort of started. And then Little Goodfella comes about just because I grew up watching all of those movies, as maybe inappropriate as it may seem to some people. It was a big part of my childhood, watching Goodfellas with the family and A Bronx Tale. And I thought to myself, what an amazing nod to my father to sort of put this, child-friendly, family-friendly twist on everything. Because at the root of everything, it is all about family. And I can assure you, no one gets whacked in my stories. So I promise it's good.
So these are still family-friendly, child-friendly. They're safe to show a
Yes.
child. Did you ever get to meet any of the people, any of the characters from any of the movies about which your style of writing has been influenced?
Absolutely. It's been such a big part of my story growing up. As I mentioned, I used to kind of work in a network where I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of Italian American actors. I worked Sopranos Con a couple of years back. So I'm just familiar with that world. It's what I know. I mean, the language we speak is quoting those movie lines growing up. So again, it just sort of made sense to put this down on paper and have it be something fun for parents to read. And they'll definitely get the references. Of course the children won't, but there's still a positive message at the root of everything, and that's what makes it kind of a fun spin on everything. So it was really fun to write, and now that they're out and published, I'm really excited for other people to get their hands on them, and I hope they enjoy it.
So you've written this for Utes. Youths. I'm sorry, I just had to throw
Exactly.
in a line. I knew I would evoke a laugh from that one.
Yes,
Some people will
exactly.
know
One
what
of my
that is.
favorite movies is My Cousin Vinny. So maybe that'll be my
Yeah,
next. But
little
yeah,
call
so
it Little
that's
Vinny.
how
Call
people
it
know.
Little Vinny. That'll be your next book. Um,
Yes.
so of course gonna ask. I know you're not related to Steve Schirripa, but how often do you get asked if you're related?
All the time, absolutely all the time. And now my actual legal name is Jessica Ferrara. I married Italian American as well, but I still kept Schirripa in the title of as my author name, as like I said, a nod to my father. But my whole life growing up, and we do believe Schirripa is not a very common name, so there is probably a distant relation there. They look alike, so.
That's very good. You never know. Look, as the name Rosato, when I was an anchor at Channel 7, every person named Rosato within 150 miles would write in and say, we have to be related, Ken. We have to be. And it's funny because
Exactly.
my father's family comes from Abruzzo, which is central eastern Italy on the mountains just east of Rome. But
Mhm.
most of the Rosatos in the United States are Siciliani. They're all from Sicily. And so we're not related. But you know what? They've sent me pictures. There was a whole group of New Jersey and Staten Island Rosatos. I could be related. There's no question. I look like half their
Exactly.
family. So I'm like,
Exactly.
okay, you want to adopt me? Here's the best part. I have gotten Facebook friend requests from all these Rosatos. And because my family is big, my father comes from 9 boys. I have like 100 cousins I've never met. So I don't know
Yes.
which one is actually related to me and which one isn't. So I got like 2,000 Rosatos in my network on social media. And I don't know who's actually related. But what the
Right,
hell? They're all
right.
related. I love it. So
Exactly.
now
Sometimes we're just
go ahead,
distant cousins. It depends what mood strikes.
we're related through Italia. That's all that matters, right?
Exactly,
Uh,
exactly. And we do. We
You're
we 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 stick a lot, we support our own a lot, and I think it's such a big part of how we grew up, our culture. So to not acknowledge it, it just doesn't feel like yourself almost. So.
And it's a good, you know what? It's a good thing that we support our Goombas, if you will, a lot. Because, and by the way, I got corrected once by Chris Cuomo on the air many years ago, first because he was at Good Morning America, I was at Channel 7, and we did what we call a talkback. And I said, "Hey, my Goomba." Now, Goomba, for those who don't realize, means Godfather, but not like Godfather. It means like the
Right.
person you are with at baptism. He
Right.
interpreted it as the wrong thing because I think his father had been accused of being part of whatever
Oh,
many
see.
times. So he looked at me and on the air was so offended. And I said, "Chris, we'll talk off there." He literally made it an issue on ABC. I was
Yeah.
like, "All right,
Wow.
let's talk about this off the air." Do you know that he never talked to me again? And I was
Oh,
friends with his brother, his late dad. He never talked to me again. So
yeah,
when
that's
I say
something.
Goomba, I mean that in a nice way.
Of
So
course.
you're a new
And
working. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yes,
Go
that's
ahead.
the thing.
I'm stepping on
I
you.
lean into the Italian thing. I don't shy away from it. I lean into all the cliches. I get it.
So you understand. Where can people get this book, and what's a website for more information?
So they can get it at barnesandnoble.com, or Amazon as well. It comes in, paperback. We got hardcover. So, of course, I had to get the hardcovers for my little guy. We've been reading it every night, which is exciting, and he loves it. But yeah, you can get them Barnes and Noble and Amazon. And I'm hoping to maybe get myself involved in some story times and, local things just to get the word out there and especially in the tri-state area. Like I said, I know there may
Mhm.
be, areas of the country that don't necessarily get this. And this wasn't necessarily written for them. But like I said, we lean into it because we're tri-state Italian Americans. This is how we grew up. And anyone that grew up the same way is going to get a really fun kick out of this.
This has to be marketed. And by the way, I said this book, I should say these books is too. This should be marketed. Of course, I don't have to tell you, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island. By the way, Connecticut, I was stunned when I found out Connecticut has the highest per capita number of Italian Americans in America. Did you know that?
Yeah,
It's
I actually
it's
did. And
something
Rhode Island is big too, believe it or not. Yeah,
huge, huge.
absolutely.
I
Maybe
was
maybe I'll
stunned.
go on a book tour. I don't know.
That's it. Go up
I'm
there and they'll look at you. Those are the erudite Italians.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
have them there, and then of course you have the Fort Lauderdale up to Boca Raton Italians. You have the Chicago
yes.
Italians, and there's a little pocket in LA. Outside of that, you have the vastness of America saying, "I like Paschetti." That's about
Yeah.
it.
I hope the Rocky one may resonate with a little bit more of a broader audience. I mean, I know Sylvester Stallone, the Rocky story. I mean, you can't get bigger than that. And he's just been such a part of like I said, he's been a part of my story my whole life, which is kind of weird to say. So there's actually a little dedication to him about that for creating a story that lives on and that we're able to pass down, which is really exciting. So it does have a
Well,
little bit of a
I mean,
broader
what's
reach.
not? It's an American story. It's a story of
Exactly.
struggling hard and achieving and overcoming odds. That's America. That's why Rocky
Absolutely.
resonated with so many people. And even though he did a Rocky 2, 3, 1923, every one of them
Exactly.
made money. And that's because it's the story. So that's
Right.
by the way, a lot of people don't realize Sylvester Stallone was actually, even though he talks like this, he was actually quite a good writer, and a lot of people gave
Yes.
him a lot of credit for his writing skills. He was an amazing
Yes.
writer. We are
That's
we are
right. I
out of
had to
time
make
right now,
sure.
unfortunately.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. We have to have you back on. I want to find out in a few months how your tour is going with
Oh,
this,
that would be
and then
great. Fingers
whatever your next
crossed.
projects are. Listen,
Yeah.
when you write the next one, what were we going to call it? The third book is going to be
Well,
my little
maybe,
cousin Vinny. How about that?
yes, exactly. Little cousins, little paisans.
You're awesome. Jessica Schirripa, now Jessica Ferrara, but your published name, Jessica Schirripa. Thank you for joining us this morning. God bless you and your family.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Nice to have you on. It's a lot of fun. All right, 7:48 is our time. Let's forego the break, Pam, because of our time here. It is 66 degrees. And by the way, in just a moment, we will talk about a case of malaria that's been discovered right here in New Jersey. And the patient didn't do any traveling abroad. So how did it happen? And how can we stay safe? And we'll talk with a man who's part of a company that can do some testing to make sure we know what's going on with that. 7:48, and it is time to take your calls at 888-658-0234. Clouds today, some rain this afternoon, highs around 70. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. We've got a very pretty day ahead, cooler with some cloud cover. So we start off a little gray, a little breezy with some light rain across central New Jersey. But temperatures today will hold in the low and mid 70s. Not all that warm as compared to days past. In fact, we're still running a bit dry, so we could use some of this rain at about that 2 to 4 inch rainfall deficit across most of New Jersey, especially where you see that dark shade of red. As we keep an eye toward what's going on down toward the tropics. Yes, we know Erin is just offshore, but there's another system that may form in the next few days. That's just off the coast of Africa. That one could be named Fernand. As we look ahead toward where the waves are right now, they're just off the coast of Florida, impacting the Bahamas. However, as this moves to the north, you see here coming close to New Jersey, that shade of red corresponding to the 10 to 15 foot waves that'll be just offshore. That begins later tonight and lasts throughout tomorrow and even through Friday before it eventually clears and the waves calm down into the end of the weekend. So big time waves coming up the coast with beach erosion likely, and of course the rip currents as well. Cooler than average weather, not just for us in New Jersey, but for the next few weeks here across the eastern half of the country, and slightly wetter than average as well through the end of the month. So we should make up some of that rainfall in the next few weeks. As far as the next few days, a little bit of rain today, cloudy and breezy tomorrow as a result of Erin offshore, and then we're back to sunshine with dry conditions, low humidity throughout Friday and Saturday. It'll feel very pleasant, even early in the morning, waking up 60 degrees. That'll be lovely. By Sunday afternoon, it's back to the rain. I think a little few showers popping up throughout Sunday and Monday, and then dry weather returns into Tuesday. The shore points have a slightly better chance of rain on Thursday, tomorrow, due to Erin offshore, and then it's dry for everyone, even at the beaches, Friday and Saturday. We'll probably have to wait until Saturday for the beaches to reopen because the waves will still be high on Friday at the shore. Sunday into Monday turns wet, and then I think we're back to dry weather come Tuesday, Ken.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. It is 7:51 right now, and we take a look at some of the traffic we have in the area. We have a down tree on Route 33 eastbound west of Route 34 in Howell Township. And let's take a look right now over at Route 29. This is in Hamilton. Oh, of course, the camera just went out. Perfect timing. Well, let's just tell you what we have there nonetheless. It is a downed tree, and that is causing massive delays for people trying to get off onto Route 29 from the highway. Of course, now they're trying to update it. It's from 295 Hamilton Township going into Trenton, and it's causing a lot of traffic, even though they have the lanes open, but people are trying to get around that. Just let you know. We have delays on the Garden State Parkway northbound, south of exit 147, Clinton Avenue in East Orange to exit 151. There's a 4.5-mile delay right now. A lot of that due to volume, but also the wet roadways. That's causing people to really slow down. We have delays now on the Goethals eastbound, about a 15-minute travel time from 278 and the Turnpike to the West Shore Expressway. So that's a bit of a slowdown for this hour. That's a lot. And our approaches to the Hudson River, the Lincoln is about 15-minute crossover right now. We're being told 10 minutes of the Holland. It's an H, right? And then the GWB 8095 approach eastbound right now, upper and lower levels moving pretty well. It's only about 15 minutes across into Manhattan. 7:52 is our time. And we have a rare and troubling case of malaria that's been discovered right here in Morris County. And notably, the person had no history of international travel. So that raises some important public health questions. And joining us this morning to break down what that means and whether the public should be concerned is Dr. Steve Goldberg, Chief Medical Officer at HealthTracks, the nation's leading infectious disease laboratory. For those that don't realize, if they want to find the website, just so that because I know the name is a little misleading. Oh, okay. We'll get it. I think you had a call. We had two people on the same line. All right, so we'll fix that. But nonetheless, it is Health Track RX. That's the way you could find their website. We're going to talk to them about that because malaria, for those that don't realize, Malaria is passed on by mosquitoes. It's how it's transmitted. And it's not like you could just stand near somebody and catch malaria. It has to be a blood transmission. And the question is, how did we get mosquitoes here? Because even if a mosquito gets on a plane, they don't usually survive very long. Mosquitoes only live a few days. So usually you have to get malaria by somebody who has it, who comes here, and then they get bitten by a mosquito, and that mosquito travels very close and bites somebody else. That's how you transmit malaria. And we had no malaria in this country for decades until we had millions of illegal migrants coming in from countries where it's prevalent. But of course, you will not hear mainstream media and leftists talking about that. No, you won't, because they don't want to, because in their eye, the illegal migrants and the mainstream media, they are as pristine and pure as the wind-driven snow. So you will never hear anything about that. I remember once at Channel 7 years ago, we were talking off the air. We had this huge measles outbreak, and it was only in pockets where there were big urban centers. And we had eradicated measles. But I remember reading a story that was in Newsweek magazine, and I brought it up behind the scenes, not on the air. I said, look, Newsweek magazine has this story saying that it is possible, and it's being investigated, that the onslaught of millions of illegal migrants who may not be vaccinated against measles, and we don't know, because when they come in, we don't say, give us your medical records, that in fact, that there might be a connection between the two. And never once would they allow us to talk about that on the air. In fact, I got spanked. I got told, I was basically insulted and told, you're not allowed to bring that up. It sounds insulting to illegal migrants. I'm like, it's a medical thing. How is that insulting to anybody? You know, if a disease is prevalent in a certain group, it behooves everybody that you mention where the disease is. You're supposed to not mention, oh, by the way, you could catch a disease by doing X, Y, and Z. No, just say that it exists in this nebulous way. And that's the way mainstream media is. They have a very particular agenda, and you are not allowed to cross that line. And when you do, you are deemed persona non grata, and you are outcast from mainstream media. That's the game they play, and that's why nobody's watching them anymore. And that's why, honestly, shows like this and channels like this are the fastest growing segment. Don't believe me? Go on Google and ask. The fastest growing segment of media is in what are called FAST channels. These are free advertiser-sponsored channels, television, FAST, F-A-S-T. And right now, it's comprising about 15% of the market on these FAST channels, whereas 5 years ago, nobody ever heard of them, or us, I should say. So it's something to think about. This is why all the networks are laying people off. MSNBC is now called MS Now. Everybody's laying off in the mainstream networks because they basically shot themselves in the foot by doing what they do. So 7:56 is our time right now. And yeah, I think here, let me just talk to Pam live on the air. Pam, it's obvious that they both have the same number. So see if we can get Gerald to communicate with the individuals, and we'll talk to them separately. Yeah. So anyway, to explain to everybody what's going on is we handle people who call in. You know, years ago you used Zoom. We use a different company for video streaming, and there were about 100 channels that they can dial in on. And if you give two people the same channel accidentally or the same number, then they actually compete against each other and get knocked off. That's the equivalent of caller, you know, when you get the caller, standby caller, you hear the beep or whatever. It's the equivalent. It knocks somebody offline when that happens. So we'll try to get that straightened out. Our time now is 7:57. And so this is a problem. Since we've had the big influx of illegal migrants, we have had a resurgence of measles. We now have malaria cases. We have diphtheria cases. We have on and on and on cases that we have never had in decades. All of a sudden, boom. Why have we never had it? Because we're vaccinated as babies. We get 10 to 20 vaccines, depending on what state you're in, before you can go to a school. We get that. But when we welcome in 10, 15, 20 million people from all over the world, and there are no medical records, or any records that we get may or may not be real, the problem is there's no way to double check. You can't pick up the phone and call Venezuela and say, can we just double check the individual who came here? No, they're not going to answer the phone. You can't call Russia and say, "Can you just double check it?" They're not going to answer the phone. So this is the problem, and this is true of anybody who was allowed over without going through the process. We ended up having millions, and now all of a sudden we have pop-ups of malaria and measles, etc. Morris County now being the case. There's an individual who has never traveled out of the country who has this. Very sadly. Hopefully he will be okay, or she. We don't know if it's a he or a she. But again, you can only get malaria by being bitten by a mosquito who has recently bitten somebody who has it. That's the only way to transmit it. So it's not like someone said, well, a mosquito could have hitched a ride on a plane. Nope, it would have been dead by the time it arrived. So here we go. We're going to do Garrett at the top. So let's go to a break. Let's not do it here. That throws off our schedule, okay? So it is 7:59 now, and when we come back, we're going to talk about all the issues with Hurricane Erin and how Hurricane Erin has impacted and is impacting the shoreline up and down the eastern seaboard. So that is going to be causing beach erosion, rip currents, etc. That's going to be an absolute mess. So we're going to talk to somebody who is part of emergency management in Asbury Park about how we could all stay safe. And we'll also take your calls at 888-658-0234. Cloudy, some rain this afternoon. Highs around 70 in the full Garden State forecast in just a moment. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings, seen daily at ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News On, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And we're streamed live on Substack, Rumble, and Twitch at twitch.tv/On New Jersey. We're coming right back. Very good morning to you, 8 a.m., Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. Hurricane Erin is churning up dangerous rip currents along the East Coast. We take a live look now at Jenkinson's and Point Pleasant, where the water is really rough. You can see the waves starting to churn up things along the shore there when we punch up that camera, and that is causing issues for anybody who, of course, today is not going to be the day to go to the beach, but in the next few days, if you want to go to the beach, that's what it's looking like. So it's not pretty, and you can see those waves really starting to respond from a hurricane that is hundreds and hundreds of miles away, but nonetheless churning up the Atlantic. Now, south of Point Pleasant, the currents are prompting swimming bans, for instance, down in Wildwood. The storm will not make landfall for us, certainly, or doesn't look like anybody else on the eastern seaboard, but it's still driving 8 to 12-foot waves and strong swells, and that is creating treacherous conditions. In Avalon, northeasterly winds closed the road to Townsend's Inlet Bridge. Atlantic City faces beach erosion and minor flooding concerns, and officials are urging beachgoers to stay out of the water for safety. Now, what can we expect today? Cloudy, some rain this afternoon, a little rain in parts of New Jersey actually already, highs about 70. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning to you, Ken. I'm kind of glad that it's raining today because it'll keep people away from the beaches, out of the
Yep.
water. Even the clouds tomorrow should deter many people because it'll be cool, it'll be windy. It won't be an ideal beach day because that surf is already picking up. There's rip current statements that are out, you see behind me, as well as the rain that's coming down. So big swells at the beaches beginning today, lasting through tomorrow, likely peaking tomorrow afternoon. There's some of the light rain that's coming down across central and southern New Jersey, headed toward the coast this morning. It'll be a gray, kind of cloudy day all throughout this afternoon, with a coastal flood warning as well toward Cape May. That is due to all of the waves pushing onshore, creating that beach erosion. And of course, in combination with the high tide, that coastal flood watch goes right up the coast there, even into Middlesex County. So plenty of to watch for over the next day or so as those waves get going. It's cool today. It starts off in the 60s, only climbing into the upper 70s, and with temperatures that started off about the same temperature as yesterday, I don't think we get as warm due to that cloud cover. There's a little bit more humidity down the shore, but it's dry up across northern New Jersey with that humidity lower, and even with the clouds today, we'll start to see those breezes pick up through this afternoon as well. An easterly wind will keep things feeling more humid at the coast, and winds anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. But the winds pick up by tomorrow afternoon, all due directly related to Erin. You can see those winds up to 39 miles per hour there on LBI, 26-mile-per-hour gusts in Atlantic City going up to near 30, with the strongest of the winds offshore. It's actually a result of the high pressure that's coming in on Friday that clears out all of the clouds from Erin. That's creating that pressure gradient and giving us a very gusty breeze throughout the day tomorrow. And then the winds eventually relax on Friday. So with the clouds hanging around today, some light spotty showers through this afternoon, it stays kind of cloudy throughout the day tomorrow and cooler, 60s up north, maybe getting to 70 at the coast. And that's where the waves will be highest. We're talking, those thundering, booming waves at the coast, 10 to 15 feet in height, and ultimately creating the beach erosion throughout the day on Friday. I think we have to wait until Saturday for those waves to finally calm down by the beginning of the week. And even though Friday's going to be a beautiful beach day, lots of sunshine, gorgeous with highs up around 80 and pleasant conditions with the lower humidity, it's going to take another day or so for those winds to calm down and those waves to calm down as well. Notice the track of the storm staying far out to sea, but still it'll be a Cat 2 storm just over 100 miles away. So with our forecast pointing to cloudy and breezy conditions tomorrow and then a nice sunny start to the weekend, it's a pretty start to the weekend, but there are some clouds and showers to finish. We'll give you that part of the forecast coming up with your weekend weather, Ken, and the Sunday look ahead coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you. 8:04 right now. We have 68 degrees in northern New Jersey, 64 degrees in Trenton. It's a little cloudy and rainy in the Trenton area right now, and that's keeping the temperature at bay. Let's take a look right now at the roadways. We're having issues on Route 29, among other things. You'll see Route 29 right by the exit, by the interchange there with 195. You can see it's pretty heavy there on the right side. That's due to a crash that's off to the side. So just beware of that as you make your way over to that area. We also have delays now at the Lincoln Tunnel, believe it or not. We now have problems at the South Tunnel eastbound by the toll plaza. There's some kind of an incident at the toll plaza in Weehawken, and all lanes are open, but we're told now it's a 20-minute travel time to get in. Over by the Garden State Parkway, we now have some issues by exit 147. That's by East Orange. You could just see some volume there as people making their way. Strictly volume there as people making their way over in the area that actually can get off toward the East Orange exit just beyond the people making their way on the left-hand side. So that's just kind of a morning rush issue, as you will. Our Lincoln, like I mentioned, the Lincoln Tunnel has some issues right now, 20 minutes in. It's only 10 minutes at the Holland. Take a look at the GW Bridge approach, the 8095 upper and lower roadways, actually moving pretty well. We're reporting here 20 minutes either way, upper or lower roadways. 8:06 right now. And back to the topic of Hurricane Erin as it makes its way up the Atlantic with increasing concerns about the potential effects on the Jersey shoreline. While the exact path remains uncertain, as Mike was saying, we have coastal communities like Asbury Park already preparing for possible flooding and damage and storm surge. And joining us now is Garrett Giberson, who is the coordinator of Office of Emergency Management for Asbury Park. And Garrett will walk us through what residents need to know and how the city is preparing to keep people safe. Good morning to you, Garrett.
Good morning, Ken. Glad to be here.
Good to have you on. Yeah, nice to have you here. And I know you're a busy man there today, so I won't hold you too long. What's the latest that we know on Hurricane Erin and the kind of impact that Asbury Park is preparing for?
Well, I just received my briefing package from the National Weather Service and Monmouth County Office of Emergency Management. And basically what they're saying is that we're going to have high seas. We're going to have rip currents. We're going to get those gale winds. And the bottom line is stay out of the water. We're lucky to have the overcast and potential for some rain today, which will keep beachgoers away from our shore, and as well as tomorrow, and hopefully by the weekend things will lay down a bit. But the lifeguards are on duty regardless, and the message that the city of Asbury Park is giving to people is we are not allowing swimming at this time, and until the water is safe and deemed safe for those to enter into the water.
Has there been a specific timeline given to you by the National Weather Service in terms of when residents could begin to see the real effects, or are you starting to get it right now?
They're talking about tonight, tomorrow, into Friday. So hopefully by Saturday, Sunday, things will start to lay down and be a bit calmer. We have also taken some precautions with our lakes because we have 2 lakes that discharge out into the ocean, and those outfall pipes sometimes will take on that onshore flow or that surge that comes in, and they will come into our lakes as well. So we have taken the necessary action to lower some of the water out of those lakes.
Garrett, what preparations are currently underway, if any, in Asbury Park? Are there any kind of evacuations, emergency declarations? Because there's always the fear of storm surge as well for something like this.
Sure. At this point, there are no declarations. There are no evacuations. Um, there are certain areas that are prone to flooding, especially if we get a heavy amount of rain in a short period of time with our lakes. So people have been advised to move their cars in those flood-prone areas in the event that we do get some storm surge that comes into our lake.
Yeah, I remember down in Florida where I used to live, we used to move our cars as far up to the house as possible because the houses were built up on sort of mounds. I know you know South Florida. And so we would move up toward the garage where you have the highest point to just stay out of the streets because a lot of the streets down there get 2 feet of standing water for something like this, and you don't want your car stuck in that. Are any shelters or emergency services being prepped just in case there's a power outage or anybody gets displaced because of the water?
We do have a plan in place that in the event that we do receive any power outages or flooding issues, that we will work with our county partners and our state partners to affect that.
Yeah, and that's something that you have to. I guess it's a wait and see, right? You'll spend the next 12 to 24 hours making determinations on that because you don't want to. I guess it's always that delicate balance. You don't want to panic people if there's no reason to, because then when the real emergency comes, they won't listen. Do I have that right?
Correct. We like to err on the side of caution, but at the same time, not panic everyone because, like you said, when the time comes of the real incident and the emergency, people don't pay attention to it. So, we try to advise them as best as we can during the situation and keep people informed. That's the bottom line. And what people need to realize is that they need to listen to what the public officials are telling them, to the watches and the warnings and the advisories.
Right. So at the same time, we also don't want residents to think, oh, this is nothing. It's out to sea. We have nothing to worry about because while we're not going to get hit by a hurricane head on at all, even the outer bands are probably not going to hit us. At the same time, as meteorologist Mike Favetta has been talking about, the storm surges, the swells, this is a huge storm. We are blessed that it's hundreds of miles out to sea. But a huge storm like that, literally, it's like imagine a giant weight plopping into the water and it's spreading that water out. And that's going to cause massive waves, 8 to 12-foot waves, pretty big for New Jersey. So that's definitely a significant thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the most experienced swimmers, surfers, they, stay out of the water when it's like this because you're just putting your first responders also in jeopardy if they have to go out and get you. So
100%.
Heed the warnings, listen to the advisories, stay out of the water. Red flags are up in Asbury Park. There is no swimming in Asbury Park. So respect that.
Yeah. And as Mike was saying, our meteorologist, we are very blessed, and you mentioned it as well, that today and tomorrow are not beach days. They're really ugly, cloudy, windy, and a little chilly, and it's not nice to go to the beach. The only people I think who might consider it are surfers, but please don't do that because if something happens to you, you don't want to put our first responders, as Garrett is talking about here, you don't want to put our first responders at risk. What's a website, Garrett, for residents to find alerts and guidance from the city of Asbury Park?
They can go to the cityofasburypark.com. We will post different alerts, advisories, and warnings on that website. And also, if they have questions about swimming, they can call the beach department, which number is located under the departments there on the website.
And I'm sure the people at the Stone Pony have the sandbags ready to go just in case.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What a
We're
great
always on the
community.
ready.
Amen. Asbury Park is just a gem. You are just an absolute diamond on our coastline, and the it's always funny when you're coming down the Garden State Parkway when you see the Asbury Park exit. You know you've officially made it to the shore. So
Oh,
that's a
absolutely.
good thing. Always makes
Yeah.
you smile when you see that, and you make us smile. Thank you so much, Garrett Giberson, coordinator for the Office of Emergency Management in Asbury Park. Good to have you taking care of that and the good folks there. And thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for having me. Be happy and stay
You bet.
healthy.
You as well, my friend. 8:13 is our time right now, and when we come back, a very special gift for cancer patients in Hackensack. We will have cloudy conditions today, a little bit of rain this afternoon. In fact, central Jersey is getting a little bit of rain right now. That's why their temperature's a little cooler than we are right now. Highs today only about 70 degrees. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will return. He'll have the full Garden State forecast, and he'll also give us a full update on Aaron, what you should consider, and how to be prepared. Plus, we will take your calls. The number is 888 658 0234. 888 658 0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. The temperature, again, is 67 degrees. Time is 8:14. We are coming right back. And welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Wednesday. I'm Ken Rosato. It is 8:15, and we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. It'll be cloudy, some rain this afternoon, raining already in parts of central Jersey, highs about 70. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Some coastal flood warnings already up for the saltwater inundation. This is due to the big waves of Erin coming on shore and creating some issues there along the immediate coastline. The coastal flood watches go up the coast as well. There's some light rain around this morning, and this is the rain that we were saying would deter folks from heading to the beaches today, which is really good news considering how rough the surf will be. You see some of that rain developing right now across Monmouth and Ocean County, headed toward the beaches as we speak, if it's not raining already, and likely keeping things looking pretty damp through the next few hours. So the forecast for central New Jersey has most of the rain around through this afternoon, cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid 70s. It'll be a gray day. We have visibility down to a mile right now in Mount Holly, 3-mile visibility up toward Trenton, and 2-mile visibility over in Toms River. So with the clouds around, the showers, and even some more wet weather on the way throughout later on this evening, that is Erin going up the coast, staying offshore, but coming close enough to give us those clouds as the cloud field expands into tomorrow afternoon. Nice and dry with low humidity across northern New Jersey. There's still that easterly breeze throughout today, keeping it a little damp at the coast and more humid. But with a northerly wind tomorrow, gusting at times up to 40 miles per hour, it's going to be very windy with all of the cooler breezes coming in. Then we have a chance of a quick passing shower on Sunday afternoon. Most of that clears, however, by Monday night, leading to a dry Tuesday and Wednesday. So the middle of next week is very pleasant. The weekend also starts rather nice as well, as next week looks to be pretty quiet overall weather-wise. We'll keep an eye on Erin's initial track, but again, all of the main models point to it heading out to sea pretty quickly once we get beyond Friday into the weekend, staying far away from us, but close enough to give us those waves. Even through Saturday, might see some pretty rough surf at the beaches throughout the first half of the weekend. Calmer by Sunday, 82, with our next chance for some rain into the end of the weekend. We'll talk more about it with the 7-day forecast, Ken. It's coming up.
Hey, Mike, I just think back to the days of before we had X-ray, radar, and satellite with
Yeah.
in terms of storms like this. All you had was a couple of reports from ships at sea, right? And then you
Right.
had meteorologists on shore who kind of looked at the high pressure or low pressure
Uh-huh.
and kind of guessed. You had no idea. So if you knew there was a hurricane out at sea, you didn't know if it was going to hit you or not, right? You didn't know
hmm
till hours before. You kind of guessed. That must have been quite a science back then. It's kind of like telling a doctor, well, go figure out if the person has cancer, but you don't have any of the tools that they have today. So
I had
it's
a
kind of
case
amazing.
once. I had a forensic case to determine if there was a tornado that touched down in Greece in an Athens marina because some boats flipped around and but they didn't have weather radar over there, or the weather radar didn't reach down in that direction. So I know what you're talking about. It seems like far off, but there are many places in the world that do not have advanced radar and satellite technologies.
And it wasn't that long ago that we didn't have satellite. I mean, we're only talking about
hmm
50, 60 years. That's not
Yep,
that
the
long ago. All
1950s.
right,
That's
like
it.
fascinating. Fascinating. But I just look at the massive size of that hurricane and how we can very confidently say it
Sure.
ain't hitting the land and calm
Uh-huh.
people down. Whereas 50 years ago, we would have said, be prepared just in case. It would have been a totally
Right.
different thing to tell everybody. So thankfully, nothing to worry about. Just be prepared in case of, don't go in the water, and be prepared in case of a little flooding. That's what we can tell everybody safely, right? Am I good?
You got it.
All right. Make sure I listen to my meteorologist, Mike Favetta. Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful one. We'll check back with you in just a little bit. It is 67 degrees in northern New Jersey, 65 in Trenton. In terms of traffic, let's take a look right now. We have some issues up and down 287 right now, northbound from north of the New Jersey Turnpike. We have some, look at this traffic, if we could bring it up. This is 287. This is by the US 1. Look at that. So this is 287 northbound, north of the Turnpike to south of Exit 3, New Durham Road in Edison. All lanes are open, but you could see volume pretty slow go right now with the wet roadways. So this was not wet 15, 20 minutes ago. So clearly it started to rain. Much of New Jersey is now being rained upon, whereas we were originally thinking it wasn't coming for a few more hours, but it has hit much of New Jersey. The Garden State Parkway has delays right now, southbound exiting 130 AB, US 1 and Woodbridge. That's all due to volume, but that's causing quite a bit of a slowdown. Another issue on 287, if we can, this is by a little further down, actually, by exit 7. This is by Route 22. This goes actually for about 4 or 5 miles all the way to exit 12, Franklin Township. All lanes are open, but that's the traffic you're looking at. A little bit of a fog and the rain causing that. So it's really a messy commute on 287 this morning. The approaches to the GWB right now, 80, 95 upper and lower levels, actually moving pretty well. It's only about a 10 to 15 minute crossover time. It's 10 minutes at the Holland and 15 to 20 at the Lincoln at this hour. There you go. That's the upper and lower level, the upper on the right, lower on the left to the GWB. 8:20 is our time. And we mentioned just a minute ago, this is the reason for the segue. We mentioned how doctors didn't have the tools they had that they have today years ago when diagnosing cancer patients. Well, cancer patients at Hackensack Meridian's John Thurer Cancer Center received an unexpected gift this week. They got over 75 luxury self-care bags, each one valued at about $400, very thoughtfully donated by Beauty Holiday Incorporated. The beautiful gift was arranged by former Allure beauty editor Lindsay Colomeo Paragallo, whose nonprofit transforms surplus beauty products into moments of care for women who are facing life's hardest challenges. And joining us this morning to talk about the impact of today's event are Kathleen Roupenian, who is a personal patient navigator, and Lauren Encarnacion, the project coordinator at the John Thurer Cancer Center. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are
Nice
you?
to have you on. I'm good, thank you. I'm good, and I feel good about what you all are doing. This is beautiful. Lauren, start with you. When did you find out about the wonderful donation from Beauty Holiday?
So actually, I found out from Kathy. She had messaged me, and we found out about a couple of days ago that they actually were bringing 162 different bags that they packed, and it was life changing for a lot of the people here. The makeup and the different there was Kiehl's skincare, baby lotion, everything that they need in these bags, and there were 162.
My gosh. My gosh. And
Yeah.
what a special gift for so many women who are just going through so much. And the last thing they need to think about is having to buy product or whatever, or just having that little special something to make them feel good is
Yeah.
just so essential. So, what are the special plans for? Oh, actually, I'm jumping ahead. What is the Surprise and the Delight Committee? What's that about?
We created the Surprise and Delight Committee for the patients. Think of it. Nobody wants to come to a cancer center. But if you
Right.
do have to come, John Thor Cancer Center, you will have the best cutting edge doctors and most dedicated nurses. So, with that being said, having to come so often, our patients do come often. It can be monotonous, it can be
Mhm.
a sad atmosphere, but that was the creation of surprise and delight to make the people that are sitting in those chairs feeling down, and we're just to lift them up. So we get donations from local different shops and local different businesses and shops, and we'll just walk in while they're getting their chemo and hand them a surprise, whatever it may be. It could be a gift card, it could be a makeup. It could be, some people make beautiful hats and shawls for the patients. It really brightens up their day. And that's what Surprise and Delight is supposed to do.
So each time a patient comes in, they don't know what to expect. They could get all sorts of wonderful things. So it's sort of
Right.
like Pavlovian. I don't mean to compare, but Pavlovian in terms of an automatic thought that instead of oh God, I have to go to the cancer center, it's going to be I wonder what they have today. That's a good way to
Exactly.
kind of
You
shift the
never know
mood.
what you're going to get. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's
That is
the
so sweet.
beauty of it.
A lot
Yeah.
of these patients can't be with their families because they're autoimmune compromised, and so we want to make sure that we can celebrate with them, and they can have something during the holidays, or they can have that little piece of home. And they're more of family than patients to us.
Right.
That is so
We see
sweet.
them so
That's special
often.
people. You
We
are
just
special
had
people to do that.
we just a lot of our people can go to the shore, so we just created what we called Margaritaville out on our second floor patio, and we had one of our employees singing all the Jimmy Buffett songs. We handed out treats and gifts and pizza, and it was really fun, and they really enjoyed it. And we have so
That's
many other
sweet.
things for each season. We have so many other events for them. And for the ones that can't get outside, we'll make up a little cart with all the treats and gifts and bring it into the clinic where they're getting their treatment. So it really, it just makes them feel happy. And that's the whole thing.
That's great.
When you're in a cancer center, we get a lot of people that say, I love coming here. And that's the best thing
Yeah,
we could get.
really.
Yeah.
Well, how can business members or members of the community who would like to get involved and donate some stuff, how can they get involved in this kind of support?
So they can email me directly, or they can call the cancer center. My email is my name, Lauren.Encarnacion at hmhn.org. And I'll get in touch with all of our team members. There's about 10 of us.
Mhm.
And then we'll reach out to them directly. We'll go back and forth. We'll make a date, and whatever works out for them, they can come over here and we can pass them out with them. Or if they just want to donate and leave, we will end up packing together and we will get it out to our patients.
Yeah, that's fabulous. And listen, you come on here and we'll promote the organizations who are donating. I'd be more than happy to promote it. But of course, just the idea that they're doing something nice to help people who are in their most
Yeah.
challenging times of life is just a
Exactly.
sweet thing. It'll go
This
a long way in heaven.
this recent one, actually, we had a lot of people who ended up giving us tears of joy. They were crying, they were so excited. There were men and women who we actually gave them 2 bags, and that person would pass it forward. Lindsay
Right.
really did a great job with us as well. She brought a little notepad. She brought little notes that you can write out good messages, or like to make people feel happy. You are strong, you're loved, this is your time, we're
We
gonna
care
fight
about
this.
you.
So we care about you. So she was able to pass that along, and the patients passed it to other people as well. So they felt like they were involved with us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see any kind of a surge in the number of cancer patients? Or, I mean, is there a time, like certain times of the year, you see surges and ebbs, or is it pretty much a constant, unfortunate flow of people coming in?
It's definitely an unfortunate flow of people coming in. I've been here for 21 years. And when I first arrived here, I had no idea. And when you see how many people have cancer, it's really quite overwhelming. But we have the best doctors, we have the best nurses, and they're all here to help you through your journey. And a lot of people,
you know what?
I'm here 21 years, I still see some of the same patients.
There you go. I was going to say, we always say this because with each passing year, we get more and more information, how to treat. We have immunotherapies that we never had. And it's kind of, it's evolving exponentially quickly. I wish we could have the day that both of you are looking for work. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. I mean that, right? That you could be doing something entirely different. But in the meantime, how sweet, and God bless you both for what you're doing to help these people out. What's a website for more information? What's a website that people can check you out on?
So you can actually Google the John Theurer Cancer Center or Hackensack Meridian Health Network, and you can actually go into that, and you'll be able to see our cancer center directly. And
JTCC.
The JTCC
website.
The JTCC website, John Theurer Cancer Center. Yep, we have a Facebook page. We have a Instagram page. So you can find us on any of those.
You can see all our
and again,
fun things.
I love that. And for all those companies, the companies and individuals out there who'd like to make a donation to, please, they'd be lovely and happy and wonderful to take those donations and give it to the people to brighten up their days when they come in for treatment. Kathleen Roupenian, personal patient navigator. Kathleen Roupenian, personal patient navigator, and Lauren Encarnacion, project coordinator at the John Theurer Cancer Center. God bless you both. Thank you both for joining us this morning. All the best to you.
Thank you.
You bet. It is now 67 degrees at 8:29, and when we come back, if you've ever dreamed of owning a luxury Rolex while also supporting a good cause, well, this might be your special week. We'll explain. Phone lines are open. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says cloudy. Some rain today. Highs about 70. The full Garden State forecast in just a moment. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're seen daily at ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News On, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And now we're streamed live on Substack, Rumble, and Twitch. At Twitch, you can find us at twitch.tv/OnNewJersey. I know that's a lot, but you find us everywhere. We're coming right back.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Hoffman, host of Energy Matters. Join me every night at 6 p.m. where we're discussing energy affordability, challenges, and solutions with stakeholders and elected officials. Join me weekdays at 6 p.m. on Energy Matters on ONNJ.
A very good morning to you. It is Wednesday, August 20th, 2025, 67 degrees right now, 8:30. I'm Ken Rosato, and welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Hurricane Erin is churning up dangerous rip currents along the East Coast. We take a live look now at Jenkinson's and Point Pleasant, where the water is really churning up the sand. You can see it there as we take a look at that camera. This has been kind of rough all morning long, and this is why we tell you, stay out of that water. Not that it's a pretty beach day, but we know a lot of younger people, a lot of surfer types are going to want to go to the beach, and there it is. It's ugly, and it's only going to get uglier as the day goes on. So just avoid the water at all costs. Do not think it's okay to go in up to your knees. That's not a safe thing to do. South of Point Pleasant, the currents are prompting swimming bans in Wildwood. The storm not making landfall, still are driving up to 12-foot waves and strong swells, creating treacherous conditions. In Avalon, northeasterly winds close the road to Townsend's Inlet Bridge. Atlantic City faces beach erosion and minor flooding concerns. And officials urge beachgoers to stay out of the water for safety. What can we expect today? It's going to be cloudy. We got some rain today, highs about 70. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast. Mike, good morning.
Hey Ken, good morning to you. Very, very rough at the beaches, but very cloudy. So, like we've been saying, I guess great to keep those beaches clear and free of anyone even attempting to want to go near the water because those waves will be so high. As far as the cloud cover, it's pretty low across New Jersey. The rain is coming down across central and southern parts of the state, but those clouds hang low through most of the day. With today's forecast in southern New Jersey, keeping all of the gray sky and temperatures holding in the mid to low 80s, maybe even getting there, taking a while to get there. As long as that easterly breeze is blowing, the high on average today for the state gets up to 76, which is below where we should be. So there's the rain coming through Monmouth and Ocean County right now, a high risk of rip currents. In addition to that, a rip current statement from the Weather Service, kind of one tick up on the threat level. As the storm expands its field, because it's not gaining energy from the warm Atlantic anymore, now it's starting to gain its energy from the atmosphere, and that tends to allow these storms to get bigger in size as they work their way to the north and east. Doesn't mean it'll be more powerful, but the wind field expands. So we'll start to tap into that wind by later on this evening, and the cloud cover as a result come tomorrow. So it stays cloudy tomorrow, even though there's not a threat of rain. This is our wet weather for today, not a result of Erin, but as Erin goes by, gives us the clouds throughout the day tomorrow and those gusty winds, primarily due to the high pressure coming in. It's the difference in pressure from the high pressure toward the very low pressure of Erin that's allowing for those gusty winds tomorrow. It'll bring back the sunshine and keep it sunny right through Friday and Saturday, but I think Sunday will allow for a little bit of cloud cover to return and maybe some spotty showers, so a little bit of a damp finish to the weekend. Once we get beyond the rain today, it's cloudy and windy tomorrow, then clearing and dry. Very low humidity on Friday, a beautiful way to wrap up the week. Starting off the weekend, gorgeous. Saturday is very pretty. There still might be some big waves out toward the beaches, and then Sunday and Monday see some rain return, especially by the end of the day. So the weekend finishing on a bit of a wet note. Again, shore points looking great on Friday and Saturday. Still very high surf right through Friday. Maybe we'll see that surf diminish by Saturday. It's going to be, the lifeguard's call if you'll be allowed to go back in the water on Saturday. But by Sunday and Monday, temperatures dip into the low 80s with some more humidity, a little bit of rain. And then I think Tuesday brings back a nice dry period through the middle of next week. So we're getting there, making it through the last weekend before Labor Day weekend with a mixed bag of sun to start and then a little bit of cloudy, wet weather to finish, Ken.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. We have 66 degrees now. Time is 8:35, and we have a little bit of traffic to talk about because of the wet roadways around our area. We have a crash investigation right now. This is US 1, northbound south of Scudder's Mill Road in Plainsboro Township. 2 right lanes of the 4 lanes closed. That's causing a lot of buildup there of traffic, as you can see on the screen. Kind of ugly right now if you're headed that way. We also have some delays reported on the New Jersey Turnpike Hudson County Extension eastbound from east of Interchange 14, which is by I-78, to the Newark Bay Extension area. Is about 2 miles of traffic, and that is all volume. The Hudson River crossings right now, as you make your way east into New York, we're told it's about 10 minutes at the Holland, 20 minutes at the Lincoln Tunnel right now. And the GWB upper and lower level looks clear, but I think that's all going to change because we just got a report of delays on the lower level. Oh, okay. Forgive me. The delays are actually on the westbound side coming into New Jersey. So that's why if you look at the upper right of your screen, those are the people who just got into New Jersey. That's basically empty because they're all stuck on the New York side. That's why. We do have, let's see, it says here some delays on the GWB upper level eastbound, 15 minutes. All right. So the upper level's the center lane where that one car is coming at you. So that might build up in the next few minutes. But otherwise, it's been a pretty good tour going over 8095 GWB into Manhattan all morning long. 8:36 is our time. Have you ever dreamed of owning a luxury Rolex while also supporting a good cause? Well, this might be your week. The Westfield Police Department is auctioning off 2 very high-end Rolex watches. Are there any low-end Rolex watches? They're all high-end. Appraised at over $46,000 combined. 100% of the proceeds will go to support local public safety initiatives. Jameel O, Farruk, who is the Director of Sales at Municibid, is here to talk about how it works, what's up for grabs, and how your bid could benefit the Westfield community. Good morning, Jameel.
Good morning, Ken. Thank you for having me.
You bet. This is exciting. So tell me how this works. Tell us about the Rolex watches and which specific watches are being auctioned off.
Sure. So, here at Municipid, we help governments create revenue generators out of their surplus assets, and we've been doing this for almost 20 years. Here on this specific auction for Westfield, we have a couple of ladies' Rolex watches, and these things are really, really great heirloom pieces. They're generational pieces. It's a great opportunity for the general public and anybody who's really interested in trying to have a timepiece like this who may not be able to source it through a dealer at this moment, or maybe the retail prices could be a little too high. They can really compete for this, have a great bid, and then really support their local community as well.
So these were watches that were confiscated then, and potentially somebody being arrested or whatever. They were confiscated by the police. Is that correct?
Yes, Ken. So we work with forfeitures and seizures in police departments all the time. We see everything from interesting jewelry to high-end automotive vehicles.
So this is a good, you know what? This is a bad thing turned good. So we get, the police had to arrest somebody, whatever, they did something bad. They forfeit their watches in this case. God knows how they got those watches, but there they are right on the screen. They're gorgeous. But the good is that this will benefit the Westfield community as a result. So that's a very cool thing. How did the Westfield Police Department come to contact Municipid, or have they been working with you for a while with the items that they've confiscated over the years?
Yeah, so we've been working with Westfield for over a decade. We've helped them monetize nearly 1,000 pieces of surplus items, equipment. The great thing about what we do is that whether it's something that's coming through forfeitures and seizures, or whether it's police retiring a current fleet of vehicles, or IT equipment, or whatever it might be, not only are we allowing or enabling police departments or any real government to create revenue out of these assets and reinvest in new equipment and their communities, we're also keeping these things in service, and they're being upcycled. So the likelihood of items, being scrapped or tossed in the landfills, or sitting just depreciating and not doing anything for the taxpayer, we really allow these items to see a new life and get upcycled.
That's fascinating. Talk about, if you can, where the
Mhm.
money's going to go and whom it'll benefit.
Well, the police department will receive the auction proceeds directly. How they choose to reinvest it, I'm not particularly keen to those details, but generally we see it going back into communities, public safety initiatives, training, new safety equipment, new vehicles, things of that nature. So it's a really great opportunity and a win-win for all parties involved.
I love it. And I have to ask you to break the third wall for me. Is what's behind you? Is that real, or is that a fake screen? Because that's a really
This
cool background.
this is my office and sort of music space. Yeah. So no, it is real, and I am real too.
Well, I know you're real, but it's so. Here's why I ask. It is so immaculately neat that I thought that can't be. That has to be a fake screen. That looks so perfect. Clearly, you're very proud of your music, and that is a beautiful collection you have behind you.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Hey, for people who aren't familiar with Municipid, now how does the platform work, and how is it different from other online auction sites?
Sure. So anyone who's looking to get an idea of what is for auction, every item is visible and open to the public. Obviously, if you would like to place a bid, you can register as a user, and it's very easy to do so. The best part of it is we've always maintained a free service for governments to sell. So it's really a no-brainer, I think, for governments to be able to monetize these assets. Keep 100% of the proceeds, and in doing so, we're able to keep the buyer fees extremely competitive, and buyers
It's
can get a
amazing.
really, really good deal.
Yeah, and what's the website? So if people want to place a bid on those watches today, and it's until 2:35 today, right? That they can do
Yeah, the
that?
auction ends in just about 5 hours. So the footage that you're looking at is an old screen grab, but yeah, the auction will end today in just about 5 hours. People can jump on. We usually see the activity happening within the last 2 or 3 minutes of an auction anyway. There's a lot of good buyers in line, a lot of people watching this item. So I'm really excited to see who gets it and where it goes. To view that, you can just log on to municipid.com, and you can find the items by category, or they will be in the auctions ending soon section.
I love it. Are the auctions open to anybody anywhere in the country, or is it just for New Jersey people?
So all of our buyers come from the U.S. and Canada. So anyone in the country, it can be another government, it can be a watch dealer, it can be an individual and private collector. Really, anyone can. It can be you too.
I love it. I love it. I don't know where I'd wear a Rolex. I think the last exciting excursion I had was Mickey D's the other day. That's about it. So I'd have to lock it up. I'd have to create a nice room like you have. For
Well,
bargain hunters, go ahead. You can come over and help me.
well, no. I mean, the beautiful thing about Rolex is that they've traditionally been not just uh, a great watch to wear, but they've also been great investment pieces and heirloom pieces that last generations. So, I don't see them going out of fashion or going out of demand anytime soon.
Right, especially the classics. Some of those Rolexes that have been around forever and they still work. That's the amazing thing. Many
Oh yeah.
people keep them locked up in a safe, and that just escalates in value over the years, on and on and on, and they pass it on, as you mentioned, from family member to family member. You have other things other than the watches, of course, and you have lots of communities you work with. How many communities at any one time are you working with right now, Jamil?
We manage a portfolio of over 7,000 governments across the country. And at any given time, we deal in surplus. So inventory is listed at will by the government. So, inventory can change every minute on our site. And anything that a government buys and is able to declare as surplus, we're able to help them sell. So we've sold everything from vehicles to boats to jewelry to computers to guitars and you name it.
Have you ever bid on and won anything? Or are you allowed to yourself or no?
No, so I unfortunately am unable to bid on any item on the site since I have the inside scoop on the auctions. But believe me, Ken, there have been a lot of beautiful instruments that have come and gone that I wish I would have had the opportunity.
I believe it. I think, you know what? And just the concept of the business is brilliant. Just brilliant. And you're doing a public service. You're helping the communities. And at the same time, it's just such a smart business. I'm, you are, let's just say you cause some enthusiasm in my heart to start thinking about my future based on the brilliance of what you've done here. Again, everybody, you have until this afternoon, just a few more hours left to get in your bid. A Rolex could be yours, all for a good cause. And it's municibid.com. And go and check out all our auctions. Jameel O. Farruk, Director of Sales at Municibid, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Ken. It's been a pleasure. Have a great
My
day.
pleasure. Thank you. You too. 8:44 right now. Just when you thought that you've thought of every business concept, there you go. That's it. Thousands of municipalities around the country auctioning off seized items on one common website. It's like the eBay, if you will, for government auctions, municibid.com. 8:45 right now. When we come back, the Jersey Shore Clue Clause celebrate. No, it's Blue Claws, not Clue Claws. I misspelled it. Blue Claws celebrate the iconic music of the Grateful Dead. The details next. It's going to be cloudy, some rain, and highs about 70 today. Meteorologist Mike Pavetta returns with a full Garden State forecast, and we'll take calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. Don't go away. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. It is 8:45. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234. Cloudy, some rain today. Highs about 70. Right to meteorologist Mike Pavetta with the Garden State forecast. Mike, good morning.
Good morning to you, Ken. A very cloudy day with some winds by the end of the day, all due to Erin offshore, but those winds increase throughout the day tomorrow. And with the rainfall that's in the forecast for this afternoon, some light showers that'll keep temperatures in the low 70s. It gets breezy by the end of the day, and then we have some more wet weather on the way for this evening before gusty winds take over tomorrow. It's not really enough rain to put the dent in the drought. Abnormally average, not technically a drought. drought, but with 2 to 4 inches of a rainfall deficit just in the last 30 days alone, yes, it's been rather dry, and we don't even have a storm that will come by to give us some substantial rain. So there's Erin heading up the coast, staying offshore, but our next name system starting to gather some organization that likely becomes Fernand in the next few days. There are the wave heights down impacting the Carolinas, and anywhere from 10 to 15 foot waves offshore right here across the New Jersey coast as the storm's center stays far out to sea, zips out by Friday. So we'll see an improvement to the wave heights as soon as Saturday. I think that's when we'll see some beaches start to reopen. But Friday might be a little too close of a call given how big those waves will be. And it takes a while for the seas to settle. All of the cool weather forecast for the eastern half of the U.S. and then a little bit of wet weather as well through the end of the month, slightly higher than average precip chances. The 7-day forecast has plenty of cloud cover tomorrow with gusty winds. Back to the sunshine for Friday, but still rough seas. I think Saturday calms things down. Sunday could have some wet weather, but the beginning of next week starting to turn drier after a little bit of rain on Monday. Back to the sun on Friday. I think Friday will be one of our banner days with that cool, crisp air to start. Temperatures in the low 60s, low humidity, lots of sun. Same for Friday. A beautiful day to get out and enjoy with clouds returning by Sunday and then a little bit of rain, Ken, by Monday.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate you, sir. Have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you in the morning. 8:48 is our time right now, and it's 69 degrees. So we're almost at basically where the high is going to be for the day right now. What you walk out and feel right now, you're going to have for most of the day. 65 in Trenton, a little cooler there because it's been raining more of the morning. The rain is only now hitting parts of northern New Jersey. In terms of traffic, let's go over to start with the Garden State Parkway. We have a crash right now southbound just north of exit 136, Stiles Street in Cranford Township. The right shoulder's blocked, and you can see the delays right now on the Garden State as a result. We have a crash investigation happening on US 1, both directions south of Scudder's Mill Road in Plainsboro Township. The 2 right lanes are closed northbound and 1 right lane closed southbound as a result. And we go over to the New Jersey Turnpike, Western Spur northbound, north of the Southern Mixing Bowl in Newark. They have a right shoulder block. We'll take a look at the traffic. No, that's the wrong one. Sorry, it's the 114.9 Western Spur north of Interchange 18W. It's right next to that. All right. We'll see if we can get to it. 114.9 Western Spur north of Interchange 18W. That's the one. Thank you, Pam. So that's right there, the issue that we have. That's as you go toward the Southern Mixing Bowl. And that's about a mile or so of that traffic as you make your way in. In terms of your Hudson River crossings, the Lincoln and the Holland Tunnel right now are both talking 15 minutes. The GWB upper and lower roadways, there are problems coming westbound into New Jersey from Manhattan side into New Jersey. In fact, some really slow delays. But eastbound, let's take a look at the 8095 approach. You'll see that it's not too bad, actually. They're telling us still only 15 minutes there as well. 8:50 is our time. It is one of the most colorful and beloved nights of the summer at the Jersey Shore. Grateful Dead Night is back at the Shoretown Ballpark in Lakewood. It's this Saturday, August 23rd. The Jersey Shore Blue Claws will celebrate the iconic music and spirit of the Grateful Dead with live music from Splintered Sunlight, food and drink specials, and custom player jerseys that fans can bid on, all to benefit Blue Claws charities. Giving us a preview of the festivities is Greg Giombarrese, who is the Vice President of Communications for the Blue Claws. Greg, please tell me I pronounced your last name right. I said I was going over it. Is it Giombarrese, Giombarrese? Please help me out.
Giombarrese, but you were close.
Giombarrese.
How are you?
All right, because
there
there are 100. Nice to have you on, Greg. I appreciate you. Thank you. And we love when we do anything with the Blue Claws because they are truly a great minor league team in New Jersey with all the passion and the fun that baseball had before the majors came around, before it became Major League. We love you guys. Grateful Dead Night has become a summer tradition. So what can fans expect this year?
Yeah, so this is the 9th time we've done it. We've done it every year since 2016, and unfortunately, no 2020. But yeah, so we've done it every year now for about a decade. Splintered Sunlight is the band. They'll be here starting at 6:15. Gates open at 6 o'clock, and then the first pitch of the game is at 7:05. The band is unbelievable. They've been at every Grateful Dead night that the Blue Claws have hosted. They do concerts all over the Northeast. They're extremely popular. They bring a great crowd. The vibe in the Sandbar, which is the part of the stadium that's relatively new. We cut it out in 2018. is going to be unbelievable. It's a great night if you like music, if you like the Grateful Dead. It's really a night that you want to be at the ballpark.
And the good news is, being Jersey Shore, you don't have to worry about this stupid errand. It's going to be well gone by that point. This is the ninth
Yeah,
year now, as you mentioned, for the
it's going to
event.
be a nice day.
Yes, it should be. We should that usually when a hurricane passes the area, once it passes, even though it's 100, 200 miles out at sea, it usually brings in nice, dry, sunny, beautiful air after that. How did this all start 9 years ago, and why do you think it's become such a fan favorite?
That's a great question. We went to a minor league baseball convention where minor league baseball teams from all over the country come out and basically just share ideas. And one of the teams around the country, this was from Richmond, they had done a Grateful Dead night in Virginia for a couple of years before that. So it's probably 2014, 2015. And we are at this conference in the fall of 2015, and everybody wants to come away with a couple of good ideas to bring back to their markets for the following season. And they said, the one thing that we really suggest everybody does, try a Grateful Dead night as long as you can find a band. And we were very fortunate to get Splintered Sunlight. Again, they're great to work with. They put on an amazing show. They're fantastic. Everybody loves them. So, all right, let's try it. So we did it, and it was super popular. And, we do a different jersey every year. I'll show you the jersey that we're going to wear on Saturday. And they and the night just kind of took off. So it's built up every year. And I think one year, 2021, they were so good we brought them back later in the season. That was the weird year coming out of COVID. But yeah, they do one show a year, Saturday night every year, and it's just great.
I'm 58 years old. I'm still. Oh, there's the T-shirt right there, the jersey.
Yeah.
The jersey. That's very cool. Oh, I like that. That's cool. That's
so
a
the one that the
year.
guy's wearing on the left. That's an old one. Yeah, that's the back of the current one. So it's getting hard now to come up with a new jersey every year, but we do the best we can. And then we got this, which I didn't get the chance to send a picture because it just came in yesterday. But this is a special T-shirt. Hopefully, you guys can see this cleanly. That will be worn. That will be available for sale in the store as well. So a little Blue Claws with some Grateful Dead vibes on that shirt too. So it's all part of the night. There'll be food and drink specials in the sandbar, and it's really going to be a great night Saturday at the ballpark.
I love it. Greg, hey, listen, here, I'm going to give you something free on the air here. You should have a contest every year and call it a New Jersey for New Jersey.
I like it. That's a good play on
All
words.
Right, it's yours.
Very good.
It's yours. So New Jersey. So somebody have people design it, and whoever has the winning design will get like a couple of tickets to the show or something. New Jersey.
We'll wear one night during the season. Yeah, I love it. We'll do it.
There you go. See, it's a gift from ONNJ Mornings. We love you guys.
Fantastic.
Now, you have absolutely. You have a charitable element too. Share how the jerseys support Blue Claws charities.
So, all of our jersey auctions, including this one, the proceeds benefit Blue Claws charities and their annual grant program. So, at the end of every year, usually in October, Blue Claws charities will solicit grant applications from the community. All the grant recipients will be 501c3 organizations based in Ocean and Monmouth counties. So we want to make sure that the money that is donated back out to the community stays local in Ocean and Monmouth counties. So the last couple of years, we've given out between 40 and 45 grants to all kinds of organizations. Some are bigger organizations, some are smaller, but they're all making positive impacts in Ocean and Monmouth counties. So when we raise money throughout the year, and you hear as a fan, the money raised is going to Blue Claws charities, that's what it means. It's going to that Blue Claws charities grant program. And even if you don't buy a jersey, if you come to the game on Saturday night or any night, you can buy a 50-50 raffle ticket, and the 50 that is kept by the organization goes right into that grant program. So we raise money throughout the year for Blue Claws charities, and it all gets given back out in the fall to various 501c3 organizations across Monmouth and Ocean counties.
I love it. And will there be any other surprises or interactive elements for fans in the stands?
Well, there'll be a few on-field promos that I think fans are going to want to check out. If you get there early and you want to head over to the on-field kiosk behind Section 105, maybe you can participate in some of those, but get there early for that. And then the band will be playing live in the sandbar with a lot of great stuff going on. And obviously we have the jerseys. There'll be other stuff too. So it's well worth the trip if you've never been out to the ballpark. Looks like the weather's going to hold out and be an awesome night on Saturday. So we can't wait to see everybody.
And you're really perfectly located. We once, I think the last time we had somebody from your organization on, we figured it out that you could get to where you are. That's Lakewood, right? Where the
Yes,
stadium is? Lakewood.
yes.
You could get there within 90 minutes of almost anywhere in the entire state, except the extreme south. You could get there within about 90 minutes. That's not bad. And you could spend the whole
No,
day. Monmouth and Ocean counties are just beautiful. So it's a great place to hang out. And for folks, by the way, who have not been to a Blue Claws game yet this season, this is the perfect night to come out, right? Because you really get to enjoy the stadium and the whole ambiance of the place.
including tonight. We only have 11 games left, so we're running out of time anyway. But yeah, Saturday's going to be great, and then we're home through Sunday, and then we're home the 6 days after Labor Day, the 2nd through the 7th, and then that's it for 25. So we're running out of time, and hopefully we'll see everybody this weekend. But yeah, it's right off the Parkway, 5 minutes off of the Parkway, exit 89.
Perfect. Greg, what's a website for people to get tickets? And I'm guessing they should really plan ahead if they want to do the Grateful Dead night.
Yeah, so go to blueclaws.com, BLUECLAWS, blueclaws.com, and you'll see an ad for Grateful Dead night there right on the homepage, and you can navigate around and buy your tickets. And we really hope to see it. It'll be fun. The band makes the night. They're fantastic. Without them, we couldn't do it. But Splintered Sunlight, those of you that have seen them, you know how good they are, and they'll be in the Sandbar beginning at 6:15.
Well, you know what? The Blue Claws, you know how to create excitement like few other organizations in this state can. You are the most creative. You're constantly coming up with new ideas, always trying to have fun and be a draw for New Jersey. So you
Well,
really
we
do the
got
state proud.
Well, we appreciate that. We did this year. We did a locals and bennies combo nights, where the term bennies, where the people come down from North Jersey. So we partnered with Hudson Valley, the Yankees affiliate. So they wear jerseys that say bennies on them, and the Blue Claws wear jerseys that say locals on them. So we did that 3 times. The third one actually will be tomorrow night, the 21st. So yeah, things like that. We're in minor league baseball. That's encouraged, and that's what makes minor league
Greg,
baseball so great.
I got to cut you, Greg, because we're out
All
of
right.
the show is over. Greg Giombarrese, VP of Communications for Blue Claws. Have a great blast this weekend. Thank you, buddy. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching On New Jersey Mornings, and that wraps us up. We'll catch you again tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. right here on New Jersey. Have a great day.